WKRO 217, your news for nowhere.
Good evening, Nowhere. Before we begin tonight's episode, I want you to think about the last time you got a package. Remember that feeling? That little spike of dopamine when you see the box on your porch? The anticipation as you tear through the tape? Now, what if someone or something was counting on that feeling? What if something fed on it? Tonight's survivor is Travis Mills, and Travis learned that in Nowhere, when circumstances seem too good to be true, it's because those circumstances may have decided you're too good to pass up. Whatever those circumstances may be, of course. But before we crack open Travis's tale like a questionable Porch package, do me a favor, tap subscribe, hit like, and keep our little corner of the night alive. But enough of my teasing. Let's meet Travis.
Thanks for that ominous introduction, Silas.
My pleasure.
Okay, so, full disclosure, I'm not exactly the hero of this story. I'm more like the idiot who poked the bear, except the bear was an abandoned house, and instead of poking it, I stole from it. For months.
Well, you know the saying, when you poke the bear pokes you.
That's not the saying.
Trying to keep my comedic image here, Travis.
Ever thought of taking, like, an improv class?
Now that's a real horror story. Sorry, I'll stop interrupting. Go on.
Let me start with who I was back then, which was basically a professional screw-up. My place was absolute trash. I lived in a rundown studio in the worst part of nowhere, Loudon Square, which, let's be honest, is most of nowhere.
Mind your manners and your audience.
I was 24 years old, couldn't keep a job for more than 3 months, and my primary income was selling random crap online, specifically Nowhere Marketplace.
Isn't that where you go when you need to sell stuff, no questions asked?
Yeah, it has that reputation. I sold old phones, scrap metal, found electronics. I told myself I was recycling, being eco-conscious. At least that's how I marketed stuff. I was really just broke and lazy, but hey, at least I was self-aware about it. I had started out by turning merch over I'd picked up from trash or Goodwill, but then one day, there it was, sitting on my doormat. I hadn't ordered anything. All my cards had been overdue and overdrawn. I checked the shipping and saw the wrong address. Off by 1 digit. It was my neighbor's, some retired lady I'd never even talked to. She had the package delivered to my door instead of hers. I stood there for maybe 10 seconds, thinking I should just walk it over, be a good neighbor, a good person. But then I thought, she probably doesn't even know it's coming. Could have been a Porch Pirates. Could have gotten lost in the mail. Could have been a lot of things.
Why would you do your old lady neighbor like that, son?
I had had a terrible day. I just bombed another interview. I came home ready to eat cereal for dinner and pass out watching TV. My headspace was not in the charitable mindset.
Finders keepers, I guess, in that respect.
My thoughts exactly. Inside the box was $200 earbuds, a grooming kit with one of those fancy nose hair trimmers, and a real badger hair brush. This was nice shit, stuff I'd never buy for myself. I resold the earbuds immediately and kept the grooming kit myself. I got cleaned up and looked like a totally different dude. Felt like one too. I remember thinking that this was something I could get used to, something I deserved after such a long time of nothing.
A bit backwards to think you deserve something you didn't work for.
Your mind does weird things to rationalize tough situations. That's why I continued to do it.
To steal your neighbor's packages?
More than that, anybody's. I started small. I had rules, you know? Never the same house twice, only boxes I could fit in my backpack. Like that made it better or okay. And the thing was, it was easy. People just leave their packages out like they're asking for it. I wasn't the only one doing it either. The whole town was complaining about package thieves. I was just part of the trend. That's what I told myself anyway. Everyone's doing it. I need it more than they do. It's just stuff.
Sounds like you were escalating pretty quickly.
I was, until I found the house. The place looked like it had been empty since forever. I'd never really noticed it before. Sort of stuck out like a sore thumb since the neighbors had pristine lawns and houses.
Didn't you wonder why a package had been delivered to an abandoned house?
Of course. but I shrugged it off as a mistaken delivery. Those were the best gets, an honest mistake, and one I could easily take advantage of. The texture was weird, like wet and dry at the same time, stiff and malleable. The heat radiated from it too. I didn't stick around to open it there, I just looked in my backpack and took off.
Ever wonder if what was inside was dangerous?
Nah, that took too much critical thinking. I still tore open that thing when I got back to my place, and inside was my biggest get yet, a brand new MyPhone.
Aren't those things worth like $1,000?
Easily more. I could fence it for that much at least. All that weird shit like the cardboard texture and heat, forgotten. All I saw was money. And I sold it the next day. Some college kid bought it, no questions asked. $1,000 in cash. That was more money than I made in a month. From one box. One abandoned house. The rush I felt was next level. It pushed me to do a ride by the house again. And wouldn't you know it, there was another box sitting right on the porch.
And what about your rules?
I was like, F the rules at this point. Who was I hurting if the same dummy made the same mistake? They were shipping phones to the wrong address. Someone's mistake was my mortgage.
I thought you rented.
Rent, whatever, you get my point.
How long did this go on for?
The house became my own personal ATM, and I started making withdrawals every day. It wasn't just phones either. It was like Christmas, every single visit. Designer shoes, smartwatches, gaming headsets, a drone, these fancy imported Japanese snacks.
How did you sell those?
Oh, I ate those. Duh.
And were the boxes all weirdly off?
From what I can remember, yeah. Odd temperatures, odd smells. One smelled like piss. One stung when I picked it up at first and sounded like bees. But everything inside, totally fine and brand new. I was making thousands of dollars a week. For the first time in my adult life, I could pay rent early. I bought a leather jacket, upgraded my bike, got actually good groceries, the organic shit. I felt like I'd finally figured out the cheat code to life, like the universe had decided to cut me a break.
Did you keep any of this stuff or just talk it?
I was getting enough stuff to start keeping things I wanted. And it was great until it wasn't.
Every night, millions of doorbell cameras are watching. Most capture nothing, but some record the unthinkable. From the creators of Survive the Night, WKRO 217 presents Ring of Truth, a new micro-drama series that brings you real footage and stories you won't believe actually happened. Stalkers, intruders, the unexplainable, all caught on camera, all waiting at your front door. Ring of Truth, coming soon.
One night, I was just chilling in my apartment playing video games, and I was wearing a headset from one of the packages, and I started hearing something. Sounded like someone was just breathing into my ear. Felt like it too. Hot breath inside my ear canal. I ripped those headphones off and threw them across the room so fast. Then, after I collected myself, I figured I just had a bad round. That I was hearing things. But then, the next morning, something weirder happened. Looked like a food fight had happened inside my fridge.
Had you stolen the fridge?
No. Not like I could take that home on a bike. But I had gotten some of those nice acrylic fridge organizers in some of the boxes. Used those in there. The creepiest thing was waking up to a set of muddy footprints throughout the apartment. They led straight to my shoes, as though a ghost had walked through a trail of poop outside and dragged it through the apartment as I slept. Smelled like it too. The shoes looked worn. More worn than the last time I had worn them. Like someone had been walking in them for years.
Gnarly. But what was the connection between all this stuff?
It all come from the house, but I wasn't done. I couldn't stop. I was pulling in $2-3 grand a week. I'd never had that kind of money in my life. Not legally anyway. The packages hadn't slowed down. They multiplied. Some days there would be 5-6 boxes waiting for me. All expensive, all exactly the kind of stuff I could flip for serious cash. I had hit the point where I could buy a car. Had the best tech from the boxes. So when the oddities got worse, it took a lot for me to respond.
Got worse how?
Well, I had this one smartwatch, top of the line, all the features, except it started counting down instead of showing the time. Every time I looked at it, it was just counting down from some random number. And whenever it hit 0, it was like a wave of dread would wash over me. Like something very wrong was about to happen.
And did it?
No, not to the human eye, but despite that, it felt like everyone around me was staring at me, like 1,000 eyes were on me at once. And the things moving in my apartment got worse. I had locked the shoes in my closet, but every morning they would be right by the foot of my bed. The TV would change channels by itself, and one day it landed on a show that was just a live feed of me watching it. That scared me so bad I smashed the TV into pieces and threw it out, replaced it with a new TV I didn't steal.
But you purchased that with money you got from stuff you stole.
Right. Which might be why that didn't fix the problem, because the new TV did the same thing. And my apartment started feeling all sorts of wrong. Not in a way I could point to, just wrong. Like I was living inside something's mouth, warm and moist and smelled like a sinus infection.
What does that smell like?
Rotten mucus.
Delicious.
Ugh, I can still smell it now. Anyway, the notes started next. The boxes I was getting all had these gift receipts inside. The first one said, "Keep what you deserve." The second one said, "This one is yours, of course."
Sounds a little vague to me.
Right? Too vague to be threatening or haunting. So I ignored them. Until there were photos. The first one was me, in my bed, asleep. Taken from the foot, looking down at me. The angle was wrong. It wasn't taken from where a hidden camera would be. It was taken from where a person would stand.
And that didn't stop you?
No. The third note used my name. It said, "We see you, Travis."
Sounds like whoever was ordering these boxes knew you were the thief.
Or whatever. Because after that I started getting sick. My teeth began to fall out. I went to a dentist who was baffled. They told me this wasn't a tooth thing, it was an ER thing. And this doctors told me they had no clue. Ran every imaginable test on me, and I had perfect bill of health. I screamed, "Look at me, I look dead." And they couldn't argue back. They were stumped and shrugged and said, "The tests don't lie." But the worst part of it was, the teeth started appearing in the boxes. And the last note I got, alongside another brand new phone, and 5 bloody rooted teeth, said, "Drop something, Travis?" That was my end point. I spent an entire day gathering everything, every single thing I'd stolen, every item from those packages. I loaded it all into a garbage bag and stuffed it full. Well, multiple garbage bags if I'm being honest. I drove them 6 blocks to the dumpster behind the Goodwill and threw every bag in and went home. I thought that would be it. I thought I'd broken the connection, cut the cord.
Oh, but it's never that simple in nowhere.
No shit, because when I woke up, every single thing, even the ones I'd smashed, even the ones I'd sold weeks ago, and the stuff I ate, all of it was back, like they'd never left. And that morning, I didn't have to go looking for a package to steal, because they came to me this time. Inside, my note read, "Satisfied yet?"
What did you do?
I gathered everything back up, but this time instead of dumping it at the Goodwill, I brought it back to the house. I thought maybe if I returned it all to where it rightfully belonged, I'd make things right. I dumped the bags on the front porch, and as I did, the front door creaked open as though to invite me in.
Did you go in?
Hell no. I just muttered, "I'm sorry," and I scurried away.
I'm going to take a wild guess that this didn't work either.
Good guess. And you'd be right. I woke up the next morning and it felt like Groundhog Day. Everything was back again, and I got another package. And this one said, "Not enough." That day, I tried burning everything. And then the next day, I tried dumping it all in Lake Hortonspur. And then the next, I tried smashing it with my car, and nothing worked. So I returned.
To the house?
I figured it had opened its door to me. Maybe I'd find my answer inside. I didn't have any other option. No one was inside when I got there, but I still felt a presence. Not through people, but shadows. They danced in different shapes and silhouettes against the wall.
Shadows are natural, last time I checked.
Not these. They took shapes that were menacing, monstrous. And then the sounds began.
More.
The whole place was alive.
More.
or the place was inside something alive. I couldn't tell which. The hallway expanded like it was a throat. The whole back section of the hall leaned into a darkness I couldn't quite make out. I started to slip, as though there was an incline, and it appeared I was sliding me down the hall, like it was a gullet. I understood then why the packages were being delivered there. It was its food, and since I'd taken it, I had to be the one to feed it.
Feed it with what?
Myself, or at least that's what I think the house wanted. It wanted everything I had taken, and it wanted me. I don't know how to explain why that felt right, but it did.
So you think the house wanted to eat you?
If I didn't return it all, everything I had stolen, everything I had owned, the stuff I had stolen was bait and I was the fish, so I had to give it everything to be free. I had to give up my greed. I ran out of the house that night and returned the next day with everything. My clothes, my car, my apartment keys, all of it. And I threw everything inside, onto the porch, into the house's throat, down that endless hallway. The house shuddered with each thing I returned, as though it was satisfied. I gave it everything, even the clothes off my back.
How did you get home? Or rather, where did you go?
I'd rather not share that part of the journey, but I will say, Nowhere's community church is filled with very kind and generous people.
That's a good plug. Did it work?
It did, though it came with a cost. My everything. I came out with less than I'd started with. I'm still rebuilding my life back up. I have a job now at a 24-hour gas station and finally just got a new shitty studio apartment.
And no more boxes?
Well, there was one.
And?
It was my neighbor's, and I returned it to them immediately.
Good boy. Anything you want to leave the listeners at home with?
So here's what I want people to understand. Nothing in life is free. Everything comes with a cost. Figure out what that cost is before you find yourself in too much debt to survive.
There's nothing scarier than debt, my son. After all, it feels a lot like being eaten alive. Listeners, if you've tangled with something hungry, metaphorically or otherwise, drop a comment below. Tell Travis he's not the only one who's opened the wrong box. Good night, Nowhere. Keep your doors locked, your porch is clear, and your hands far, far away from strange packages.